good evening, and welcome back to another edition of Lifestyles of Love with your girls, Chris and Vic. I'm Chris.
I'm Vic.
And tonight we're here with another East Sider from way back. It's our girl, Angie. Say hey, Angie.
How's it going?
She's here all the way from Austin, Texas tonight to talk about exploring your sexuality and all the facets that come along with that. Because as I was reading, there's a lot that comes with exploring your sexuality. So we're going to get into it. Generally, we know Angie from high school. We all graduated from Las Vegas High, class 04.
Oh,
I think that was our slogan, but maybe it wasn't. But yes, nonetheless, we are so grateful you're here, Angie. Thank you for coming.
It's my absolute pleasure. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay. So I didn't have a whole lot of idea about this particular topic necessarily. I mean, I feel like I've talked about this just amongst my queer, gay, lesbian friends, in general, but not in any kind of specific way. So Vic, do you have any kind of definition? Do you have an idea of what exploring your sexuality means?
I do not. I would just imagine that means, well, I guess I would just imagine that means, what do you like? What would be your orientation? Who are you attracted to? Who do you like to have sex with? What kind of sex do you like to have? What kind of things do you like to do during sex? Is that all the time? Is that some of the time? And do you like to be sober? Do you like to be drunk? Do you like a mix?
Mm-hmm.
All of these things, I would imagine.
Yeah, you put a lot out there. How do you feel about that, Angie? Do you have a tidbit to add to that before I give this?
No, I totally agree with Vic. I think it's the wide spectrum from
right.
The kind of what kind of genders you want to sleep with to what kind of just broadening it, what kind of sex you want. Are you more vanilla side? Do you want to explore some other sides? And the various kinks and lifestyles that go with that.
Yes.
So exactly. How do you identify the people that you sleep with, or based off the people you sleep with, how do you identify yourself?
I identify as queer. Okay. I mostly sleep with men, and most of my romantic relationships are with men. I do occasionally sleep with women, but I'm very particular about the women I sleep with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But yeah, it's there are some times where I really just want to be wrapped up in masculine energy, that very traditional masculine energy. But then there's other times I want feminine energy and that softness and sweetness, and so that's what I seek out too. So, yeah, it's it's very mood dependent.
Well, do you find that you find feminine energy in men and then masculine energy in women also?
Oh yeah, most definitely. But also I know what I'm attracted to. And yeah, I'm attracted to very masculine looking men, okay, and then very feminine looking women. So
okay.
Love it. So the definition I had that was kind of in a general way, was saying that exploring your sexuality was continually seeking out knowledge of your unique preferences and desires. And equally important, it means gaining knowledge on what experiences or characteristics you don't want your sex life to include.
So
that's, I think, the point of the exploration. And then in a bigger, broader term, there's the things that Vic was talking about, who are you sexually attracted to, who you're romantically attracted to, what's your preferred relationship structure, how you like to be touched, the time of day you like sex, your erotic content preferences, your beliefs about sex in general, your kinks and your fetishes, and then your past sexual experiences and beyond. So
So, Angie, if you don't mind me asking,
Sure.
at what age did you start having sex?
I was a very late bloomer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I didn't have penetrative sex with a man until I was 24.
Oh.
Yeah, I I had really bad confidence issues growing up, and I never thought I was attractive until a series of interesting events happened in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and I realized I grew up in a very monocultural bubble that was very much like, if you don't look this way, you're not considered attractive.
Okay.
24. I was 24
Wow.
years old. Yeah.
So were you exploring the sexuality or exploring your sexuality with women like in your younger years before that, or was it at the same time that you started to have sexual relationships with men? Like high school, college?
No, I mean, in high school, I mean, I had a crush on everybody in high school. I thought everybody was amazing. I think I was just like mesmerized by you, Crystal, because you were just like, you were friends with everybody and you were cool. And I'm just like, and yeah, when I think about like all the popular people I wanted to be like in high school, I thought about you. And then for like Victoria and I go like way back, and when I think about Victoria, I think about like how much you love Leo DiCaprio in Titanic.
Hilarious.
So that's what I think about when I think about you two. But yeah, I had a crush on everybody in high school and then in college too. But I was like I had no game or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved to New York City in the early, like right at the end of 2010, and New York City was a completely different vibe than the West Coast.
Oh my God!
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Chris,
were we there at the same time?
I don't think so. I think you were there after I was, but New York changed my life because I thought you had to look a certain way in order to be considered attractive, and I never looked that way, so I thought I was hideous, and then New York changed me. In New York, I learned I was hot, and that was just like click something in my head.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I got hit on all the time. And then finally, when I decided to lose my virginity, it was this guy I met at a bar. And I was like, fuck it. It doesn't have to be special your first time. It can just be what it is. And so he asked if I wanted to come over. So I went over to his place and we had sex, and I told him I was a virgin, and he's like, you were quiet, but other than that, like, it was great. And I'm like, all right.
You were quiet, but other than that, well, yeah, I was quiet.
Yeah. I mean,
well, did you have sex again?
No, we never hooked up again. Really took his advice to heart, and so I try not to be quiet anymore. But yeah, it was living in New York City did something to my confidence level that was like just
that's great.
Blew up, and yeah, so
are we still there at that confidence level?
No, but Austin's weird. Austin's not New York, but it's also not like Vegas or like the West Coast, so it's yeah. Oh,
we can get into that. So I think there's also something to make sure that I outline here, that sexual, like, self-identification, not like your current or your past relationship or your sexual history determines your sexual orientation. Because I think when people even think about sexuality, they're thinking about their sexual orientation, like who they prefer to have sex with. That's the general idea. I think that most people who aren't into like all of the terminology and into all the eccentricities of sexuality and queerism and gay and straight and whatever, like they would just think, if you say sexuality, they would think, who are you sleeping with? Who do you like?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, sexuality can be incredibly fluid. You know, even though I identify as queer, there was one point in my life that I only wanted to date women. And I think that's completely different now. Like, I'm at a place where I want to be in a kind of like a heteronormative relationship with just a straight man. But yeah, even like I think about like just me being queer and all like the different people I've been attracted to, it definitely has like, you know, more feminine energy, more masculine energy, more just, you know, neutral.
So do you find that it's that way because your biological clock may be ticking?
Sometimes I do, definitely. But also, I have recently discovered I probably won't be a mother in the traditional sense.
Okay. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love kids. I thought one day I would be a mom, but I don't think it's going to work out the way I want it to. So my thing right now is I just want to find someone I like hanging out with, and the whole biological clock thing is it's not a thing for me anymore. Like, I think if I really wanted to have kids, I would be like a badass foster mom. I just wouldn't. The biological clock thing is like completely also totally over my head. I'm like, all right, I'm probably never gonna get pregnant, which is fine. Kids will be in my life eventually. I just don't know how yet.
Yeah, I hate because we're at that age, where we are getting older, and the people just ask the questions. You don't have any kids? Why are you da, 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 da? I was like, bro, you do not know my life. You do not know my body. And I don't think that they mean to be, I don't think they say that with like malicious intent, but it's like that's very personal, and people just assume because you're a woman that it's supposed to happen. It's gonna happen.
No, I totally agree. I think a lot of like our elders see kids as a blessing, which they are sometimes.
Yeah.
And they worry about things that are important, and yes, they do have weight like lineage and legacy. But then also, I know how some people are also scared about passing on, other legacies. I think about this all the time. Like, what traumas would I eventually pass on to my future children? I think about like all like the different things I want to shut down. This generation is going to shut down with me because I don't want to pass any of like my parents or my grandparents' trauma onto my future children. I think that is such a sensitive question. I understand why people ask it though, because those, the things that I listed were very much important. But also I try to give people grace because I think about like my mom. My mom is in her early 60s, and her generation that's what they grew up with. They didn't really know any better. Like, you ask, hey, when you're gonna have kids, but that's what they grew up with. That's like how they were brought up. That's how they were told to start conversations. They don't know any different. So I try to give them like people like that a little bit more grace.
Understood. Mm-hmm. Have you ever been in a relationship with a man and a woman simultaneously?
Yes.
Okay. How did that work out?
We were together in a triad.
Okay.
And I was initially dating the guy first, and then he brought in the woman, and we just got along really well. And yeah, we're great. We didn't last long together as a throuple. But yeah, we broke up, and then me and the woman we're still really good friends. I hit her up on Instagram all the time.
Oh, okay. So how was that for you? Was that a good point for you to explore? Well, from every perspective, I guess, explorable.
I guess. I mean, I didn't really think of it as like a big like exploration adventure kind of thing. It was it just felt like the thing to do at the moment. It was fun.
You went with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm just like, okay, whatever. Let's see what happens. But
I feel like we're supposed to do. I feel this is what we're supposed to do when it comes to just figuring it all out. Whether you're actively exploring it or if it's just, I'm just gonna go with this. I'm just gonna go with the feelings. The feelings they're feeling good. It doesn't have to always be this. I'm making a declaration of my sexuality, and this is what it is forever. You know what I mean? It's like, we have to like hit the force or something. It's not. I feel like there's a lot of gray. There's a lot of soft cushion on all these labels that you don't even have to have a label. I mean, you can be labelless in this day and age, right?
Oh, no, I totally agree. I think everybody just wants to have that label so they have that sense of belonging, which is totally fine. It's valid. But it's okay to know not exactly what you want or not feel like you're solidified in your choices. I mean, there are days where I feel like I'm like 100% straight. I want to have sex with cis men, but then like, you know, a year later, I'm just like, there is a really cute girl who's in my group, and I just want to ask her out, and fuck it. I like everybody again.
Okay, I have a question about that.
Yeah, what's up?
When it comes to women, do you bother worrying about their sexuality, or do you just go for it? Like if you don't know whether she's queer or she's gay, straight, or whatever, do you just go with it on your own attractions, you know, narrative, or do you try to figure out if they are even interested before you go for it?
I usually try to figure out what their sexuality is first, because I want to be respectful of their spaces. I've had crushes on plenty of straight women before. It sucks, but you know, you're not going to sway anybody's opinion or their mind. They identify as straight and they only sleep with men, so fuck it. Sorry, it sucks, but you kind of deal with it. I try to learn a little bit more about how they identify and what the things that they like, and then if they, you know, are more leaning bisexual or lesbian, or however they identify on the queer spectrum. I would totally like just go forward and was like, okay, this is me. I'm just gonna go like push myself, and yeah.
Then my next question is, how do you feel about, or are you attracted to bisexual men?
Oh yeah. That's not a problem for me at all.
It's not a problem for you, but you were saying like sometimes you have more of like you want a cis man energy, and well, I don't know if you meant just energy or if you meant like literally. Like if you're feeling that energy, you're not going to necessarily go after a bisexual man.
I mean, it just really depends on how I'm feeling at the moment. There's sometimes I'm just like, I want the softness and sweetness of like a really traditional cis woman.
Right.
But then like, I mean, I've had a lot of different, I want to say experiences or no relationships with bisexual men. So it just, I don't know. It really just depends on like what my mood is.
What your mood is. I have to say, like, I don't have an issue with bisexual men personally. I personally like watching men in person. I like watching men like kiss each other. It doesn't have to go any further than that. I just like watching men kiss each other because I just think it's beautiful. But I would not mind having a threesome with two men. It doesn't happen that often for women, I feel, but
no, because they like to label it a train.
Well, the men like to label it a train because they don't want to seem gay. Like they're into it. They're like, oh no, we're running a train. Like we're not both having sex with her, or I'm not touching him.
No, I mean, I was about to say, what do you mean? Do you mean like an MMF or do you mean an MFM? And there's so many variations.
Well, what's the difference between MMF and MFM?
So
MM.
You have to look at like the visual representation of the letters. So MMF. So look at the M's and the M's together in the configuration. The M's and the M's are touching each other. So that means the M's, F's, the man and the man are touching each other, and the man and the female are touching each other. Versus the MFM, the man's touching the female, but she is only touching the two different guys. They're not touching each other. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That makes perfect sense.
And thank you so much. Okay, for that. That is really one of those things that there's all these initials and things that happen. And I just thought, I'm thinking MMF and MFM are the same thing because the initials are the same, right? Or the same initials are in there. And it's like, well, it's a man, it's a female, or it's a male, it's a female, and another male.
The order is totally important.
The order is important.
Yeah, it's very important.
Love it. Okay. So then if you say like FFM, the two females are like they're touching, but like they're not both touching the man.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. that can get very complicated, I would say.
Okay,
These initials make it seem very simplistic, but
what if they are touching the man? What if they're both touching the man?
I mean, I feel like that is the kind of the standard and very like threesome porn, but it really just depends on like what you're looking for. Porn has like a very nice, as much as I loathe them, I like how they have everything very separated. Yes, if you want to like look at very particular porn, and just type in whatever you want to look into Pornhub, and their search filters are amazing.
They are.
Okay, so did you watch a lot of porn like in your like teenage years, like before you started having sex? Did you watch a lot of porn?
No, not at all. My parents are very prudish. So this was, the early 2000s. And that was so like just we still didn't know exactly what the capacity of it was. So we're kind of scared, but also like, ooh, we're so excited with AOL.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Chat rooms and
yes, yeah. And so like I really didn't watch porn because I didn't know exactly how to look for it online. Mm-hmm. When I think about like all the online stuff that I wanted to do, it was just mostly like with journalism stuff, or I looked up music. I loved Yahoo Music. They used to play like these music videos, and I was obsessed with them.
Yes.
And then in college, I didn't have a laptop, so I really didn't watch like porn, but like I kind of knew what it was. Mm-hmm. But I was also like just very like good girl. I didn't think like it was really like worthy of sex at that moment. And then when I left school, that's when I got my first laptop, and then I got really, really into porn, and then kind of just learning about porn from there. I can go on and on, but yeah.
So what age was that then?
I was probably like 23, 24.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm almost wondering, honestly, you got into porn, but did you ever like imagine what sex would be like? Because I imagine if you had a crush on everybody and all these things, that your imagination was running wild. Because I almost wonder if you almost had an advantage of waiting to have sex over some of us that started early. Mm-hmm. Because you got to really explore in your mind, and you got to, I guess, maybe more so seek out what you wanted or what you thought it would be.
Sure. So I'm a Pisces. We're just approaching Pisces season right now.
Ooh,
oh yeah.
And Pisces are very stereotypically dreamers. We daydream all the time. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I dreamed about sex all the time. In college, I was just thinking about this the other day. The new Batman movies are supposed to come out, and I'm a massive Robert Pattinson fan, and I have been since Twilight. And Twilight came out in college. Yes. And Twilight had, New Moon had a very particular sex scene between Edward and Bella, and I'm just like, that's how I thought sex was going to be. Just smashing it with Edward /
Are you disappointed? Bro, you're disappointed.
Yeah, it was totally disappointing. It was so terrible.
I already know the answer to that question.
I wanted Robert Pattinson so bad. I still want him. I love him.
She still wants him.
Oh,
I mean, we could go on about the first time. Listen, nobody's first time is great. Maybe some people's first time is great. Because of the circumstance. But not physically. Come on.
Hey, I don't know.
I mean, not for a woman. Sorry. For a man, it can be fantastic. But
I don't know. Sex
always opening up them muscles, and
oh Lord,
that's not an easy task. So
because I'm saying, okay, like I was younger than you, when I first had sex, right? And it's like, if I'm with somebody my age and we both don't know what the fuck we're doing, like, I don't know, is this a pleasurable experience for either one of us, right? Mm-hmm. But with you being older, I would imagine that maybe so. I don't know, because not all men are great lovers.
Maybe you had time to break your hymen, you mean?
Well, maybe being with someone who's a little older, maybe a little bit more experienced too, who's an adult, maybe the sex was better, but then maybe not. Okay, because all men are not great.
Yeah, lovers. Because then you're the one approaching it with no experience. So some men get off definitely on virgins, right? Like I can name a couple. I won't name them. But some men do get off on that, and it's all good for them. But other men are like, virgin, like, I would rather you go and have sex with somebody that you like or know or something than lose it to me, because I don't know, I don't want you to regret it. And then it's like, what are you getting? What is the guy getting? Is he getting anything? I mean, maybe
he's getting sex.
but he's not getting good sex.
No, exactly.
Maybe.
That was, I've always questioned that myself. I'm just like, I don't want to sleep with virgins. Why do you guys want to sleep with virgins?
Yeah, I don't.
Absolutely not. Like, yeah, like, would you do that now if you met a virgin that was your age?
No.
Vic, and you weren't engaged, would you do it? Well, Angie says no. Would you do it, Vic, if you weren't engaged and you met a virgin that was your age?
No.
Right? Because you're going to be questioning what you're going to get out of it, right?
Yeah, of course, because at this point, like, there is definitely a certain type of sex that I like, and it's not going to be inexperienced.
It's not going to be inexperienced sex.
So, and I mean, I believe, you know, sex is very important in a relationship to me, and that chemistry also. So, you know, this person, you know, vowing till marriage to never have sex, because I've had great sexual chemistry with somebody, and the sex was not all of that, and I was very disappointed. You know, so I just, no, it's not for me, boo. I'm sorry.
So going back to just the exploration of it, some people say exploring your sexuality is the key to a happy, healthy sex life. I would say I agree.
I would agree with that.
Same.
Yeah, right? Okay.
Yeah.
The self-understanding, I think, is the biggest piece of the puzzle. It's like, it helps you generate better sexual experiences alone or with a partner, which brings me to the fact that you may not always have a partner. Some people are not super into exploring themselves. It's easier for them to explore with somebody, or for their somebody to explore their body, and they figure out what they like through somebody else exploring, not themselves. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I knew a girl who was married, and she had never masturbated. And I thought it was so crazy, because I felt like, if I'm okay, yes, I explore my body first, and then I can teach you how I like it. And then maybe you're going to teach me some things about, you know, how you touch me and things like that. I'm going to like that too. But my exploration should not first involve another person. That's what I believe. You should be adding to it. You shouldn't be like my sole foundation on my body.
Yeah. Sometimes it's easier, I guess, like, or it's faster, or it's more pleasurable to explore your sexuality with somebody than to just do it on your own.
I mean,
like,
you should do both,
yourself.
I think.
Fingering yourself is something you gotta work up to. I mean, maybe some people are quick to finger themselves, you know, and I'm talking about men and women. Maybe they need somebody to do it for them, and then they find out they like it, and then they explore it on their own. I mean, there's all kinds of,
there is
situations, you know, it could occur, but it is very important to have an independent exploration.
Absolutely.
No, and I totally agree. The way that I grew up and thinking how to be happy, and you had to hit all these certain like milestones and bumps. You had to be very linear about certain things, especially when it comes to things like passion and finding out what makes you, you know, giddy inside. I learned that it works for some people and some people it doesn't. So if you're not experiencing what you want in a certain relationship, sexually or romantically or whatever, you don't have to follow this certain path. It's not one path to like happiness, including with your sexuality.
Great point.
Yeah, that is. I just think that if you put so much emphasis on having a partner, then if you don't have a partner, it's like, then you're not, you know, having sex at all.
Right.
You know.
And you just cut all ties to exploration.
Right.
And the truth is like, look, you may have somebody now, but you might not always have somebody. So you should create that space for yourself, even if it's just, you know, I don't know, watching porn alone and touching yourself. I mean, masturbation is a great form.
Stress reliever.
That too. But it's a great form of exploring one's own sexuality, because personally, I've been masturbating since I was a child, and my masturbation tactic and strategy has changed over the years completely.
Same. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Same.
it doesn't stay the same as when you're a kid and you're like humping pillows or, you know, whatever it is.
Letting the bath water run over your
right, letting the bath water run, or, you know, hitting that staircase banister or whatever it is. It evolves. You just become more comfortable with yourself, I think, through sexual activity, you know, and then all of a sudden your fingers are in your vagina. Now, personally, not me. I've done it and I don't like that kind of masturbation personally, but that's just me.
Same. Yeah, same. I mean, people like what they like. So we got the idea to do this show because Miss Angie here had posted this picture on Instagram of her being tied up. And I was like, yes. So I didn't know. Thought it was called like rope play. And I was telling you when we had talked the other day, I had discovered this guy on Instagram who was doing this, going on tours and doing this thing. And so then you had called it shibari, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I saw this picture and I was just like, this shit is so fucking hot. Yes. Yeah. I just
yes, y'all.
And I wasn't expecting to see that from you. And I was just like, okay.
I wasn't either when I saw that. I was like, oh.
Yes. I was like, yes, come
on. Not that I ever thought that you were a prude, Angie. I just thought that I did have an image of you as like the good girl. Like that's always been my image of you. You were always so fucking sweet and kind and with your words, and you were always so gentle and like soft spoken. So I always just had this idea. I'm like, this is a good person. Like she's not engaging in these fornication that I'm engaging in. Like, this is ridiculous, you know?
Yeah, you're always smiling.
Always smiling.
Yeah.
Y'all flatter me. Thank you so much.
No, so it was like kind of like
I had no idea that you weren't getting laid in high school, okay? I had no clue.
Right. No idea. I would have imagined too that you were like giving these motherfuckers the business. Not like that. Not like you were like a hoe or anything like that. But I don't know. I would imagine someone like you would be, and I guess now thinking back, I would imagine you to be like a very good lover. Actually, yeah. A very good lover.
Yeah, high school Angie is screaming on the insides. I think movie's so popular.
Girl, that journalism class, especially, I was like, she's so fucking sweet. I really didn't know though. I think I was looking at you. I mean, in my own terminology, my own teenage terminology in my head is like the alternative, like skater chick.
Sure.
That was my own, like, you know, Avril Lavigne kind of mind. You know, that was what you were giving me. You were giving me Avril Lavigne, not the anger.
No, totally. I was such a scene kid in high school. Yeah. I just discovered punk music, and I loved all like the bands like AFI and Kill Hannah, and I loved that. But also, I took a lot of honors classes, and I was one of the only kids of color in honors classes. And now I realize I was actually pretty popular in high school, which I didn't think I was popular at all. But I floated around a lot of the different groups. Which,
I think that was the dynamic of
a lot of us.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. I really think that was what it was beautiful about, like us and our. I don't know, like I don't want to say it's our class, but just the general demeanor of that.
No, and I was trying to explain this to a bunch of my friends here in Austin who like grew up here in Austin, and they're like, I'm a massive Euphoria fan. I don't know if you guys are watching Euphoria, but this season is fire.
No, I'm going to start. No spoilers.
So good. And I was telling my friends here in Austin, I'm like, I kind of grew up in Euphoria. I feel like this takes place in Vegas. And they're like, really? And I'm like, I didn't do any drugs, but like I knew people in like who was like Cassie. I knew people who were like Rue. I also like I floated with like the Good Mormon kids. I floated with the theater kids. I was with the band kids. I was with the AP classes kids. I was with everybody. Yep. I felt like very like Lexi. I was just like I was cool with everybody. I didn't like drink.
Yeah, you were the observer. Yeah, you were Lexi.
Yeah, I was totally Lexi. I floated around with everybody. I didn't do anything, but like I didn't give a shit if you wanted to smoke weed or get drunk. Just don't ask me to do it.
Just don't ask me to do it. Yeah. That is so funny because I literally said that to somebody I said it to Montez because I was trying to get her to watch Euphoria, and I was like, just take out the social media, take out the modern terminologies of like knowing your sexuality and knowing who your queerism or whatever. These kids are from Vegas. Like, I don't even know where they are.
Vegas, they're Vegas kids on the east side.
It is. It's some east side shit, and I don't even know how to explain it, but
okay, I'm gonna watch
it.
You have to watch it. It's so good.
Because on top of that, Zendaya.
She's phenomenal. She deserves every Emmy.
Every Emmy, like, where the fuck did she come from? This girl was like a pop star.
Mm-hmm.
She's an Oakland kid, so she's really badass. She has the whole crazy vibe.
Yeah, I have goosebumps.
Zendaya.
Okay. I'm gonna start watching it tonight. I'm gonna let you guys know, like,
because tomorrow is the next episode, and
no, I'm gonna start the first season. So
oh
yeah, like the first episode, first season. Like, I gotta start from scratch.
Oh.
I'm gonna start it when we get off.
Subtitles on.
Okay, I will.
Okay, back to it. Sorry, I just
sorry.
excited.
No, it's okay. So I saw this picture, and so we looked up a little bit about Shibari, because I remember you had mentioned that it has to do with meditation. So I'm just curious how something that has to do with meditation can turn into something with sex, and is it kind of aligning with tantric? And how did you come across Shibari?
My journey with Shibari has been this very kind of like long, complicated journey. I've always been interested in bondage. So to kind of like backtrack, Shibari is a type of bondage. There are bondage principles like all over the world. Each like different country, each different culture has their own kind of like bondage principles. And Shibari is Japanese. It's very intricate. It's very beautiful. It's usually done with a very particular type of rope. So yeah, Shibari is fantastic.
Even the rope is specific?
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Even the rope is specific to
Shibari? Yeah, the rope's very specific. Oh. It ranges from like a jute rope, which is like the very kind of like that tough rope with like, it just feels like really rough. It would leave like really bad like imprints on your skin. So like ranging from that all the way to like silk ropes, which are a little bit softer. There's a wide range of different ropes if you want to use and explore. You can like look at so many different types of versions of like rope play. So there is like a very particular like German kind that's very harsh, and that's used with a little bit more like a rougher fabric, or like again like with a jute, so it will leave like really like the imprints in your skin, or if it's gonna rub, it's gonna leave like like any like bad welting or anything like that. So
some people right? Some people want.
Yeah, some people love that
and stuff. Yeah,
it's not as simple as just tying someone up.
Yeah, it can be as intense as you want it to be. So it just really depends on who your rope top is, and then who your rope bottom is, or your rope buddy is. Oh. So that has to be established as one of your first initial things, like how in depth do you want to go? How do you want to play really rough? Do you want imprints on your skin? Do you want indentations? Do you want any long lasting bruises? I always say a really good rope top or a rope dom really listens to their bottom exactly what they want, and is really, really good about taking into consideration what they need and what they want, versus just, you like to get tied up and that's cool, I'm just going to fuck you afterwards. That's a bad dom.
So do you feel like wait, what's the Phenomenon movie on the bondage?
Oh, like 50 Shades?
Yeah. Was that kind of inaccurate, or was that just a different form?
I mean, I know people that hated that movie so much.
I'm sure. Oh, I know those people.
I do love those movies. I think Dakota Johnson she's fantastic in those films. I think that relationships like that, whatever kink preference you have, can be whatever you want, whatever you make it.
Yeah. That's probably more of a kink in that movie, right?
I mean, he just liked to tie her up and spank her a bunch of times. I don't think that's
that's how he got off, right? He could
control
get her
or being
right? Yeah. Mm. I mean, I'm not gonna yuck anybody's yum, but I'm totally whatever you feel, guys. Yeah, people think things need to follow a certain kind of formula in order to be pleasurable. I don't really think that.
You probably shouldn't. I mean, because at the end of the day, like, human beings are very strange animals, and we all just like different stuff. And
that's fine.
Like you said, you can't yuck somebody's yum. I mean, there's plenty of times you try to do that, and people are like, "That is fucking delicious," and you're like, "I will barf." So it is what it is.
So, can you? I know you said you kind of had a complicated journey with shibari. So, can you walk us through that? Like, when were you introduced to that? Did you find it on your own? Did a partner introduce it to you?
I live in Austin now, but a couple years ago, I was living in northern Nevada, and I used to lead this group, this random sex positive group, and we used to cover like a wide range of topics on a weekly basis. So everything from kink to like safety, consent, things like that. And then I kind of just learned from there, just like the various different things about like the kink lifestyle and BDSM and things like that. And then I decided to leave that group. I wanted to like lean more towards the advocacy side, while the other leader was more leaning towards like the play side, which is fine. But I was just like, I wanted something different. Exploring the play side versus me exploring I wanted the advocacy side, especially like just learning a little bit like more about how things were for sex workers in Nevada. I was very disappointed how sex workers in Nevada are treated. I would go to like the Bunny Ranch down in past Carson City and drink there with one of my friends, and we would talk to the girls, and they would just tell us just about their working conditions. I'm just like, this is fucked up. You don't understand why you're not getting treated better. This is terrible when you're doing this for your profession. And so I'm just like, ugh.
And that was coming from like the ranch itself, or
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I would talk to the girl and just be like, I totally respect what you're doing, but like I think you guys should be treated better. So I just had that advocacy aspect in me.
Okay. So back to the shibari. I'm sorry, I'm very interested.
Yeah.
About that. Do you tie yourself up?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm learning how to do like self tying.
Okay.
I didn't know if that was a thing or not.
Yeah, no, it totally is a thing. I feel like I'm not meeting the people that I want to meet, so I can do a lot of practicing. So I'm just like, if I'm gonna learn how to be the best that I can be, like I'm just gonna learn how to do it myself.
Absolutely.
I love that.
I feel like I've heard a lot about Austin being very, kinky, and there's a community there. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think the community here is big, but I also I know that I'm pretty picky. So I know exactly what I'm looking for when it comes to things. Yeah.
That is that I am very picky, especially when it comes to women. Like you were saying, Angie, I'm very picky.
So the first time that you started your shibari journey, can you take us through that?
Sure.
Wait, you mean like sexually? Yes. Or actually, even if it was meditation, that's fine.
Okay.
Sure. Because how have you experienced it with meditation?
Sure. I think a lot of people approach shibari and bondage as like very, this rough sexual thing, which it totally can be. But I try to approach it as a very like just meditative, like I'm constantly checking in with my partner. I'm how the both of us feel. I really just want to be present in that moment. And so that's where I come at it as a very meditative place. Other people are very, they can do whatever they want with it. They sometimes just want to tie up people because it looks beautiful. They don't necessarily want to have sex with them. They just want to tie
it's aesthetic for them.
Yeah, most definitely. Sometimes they want to have sex with them, but then sometimes it's whatever they want to, it wants to be for anybody. It's just shibari has a really big flexibility for being. It doesn't even have to be sexual. It can just be something that's just very pretty to look at.
Oh, So are you having sex like in the shibari state?
Sometimes I tie somebody up, and then how I tie them up allows me to have sex with them, and so yeah, okay. Sure, if they're, but like I want to make sure if the person that I'm tying up is in that same capacity, that mental capacity as I am, of course.
Yeah, because I'm wondering if it's like a foreplay method or if it's part of the sex.
It can totally be a foreplay method.
Like I tie you up and that turns me on enough to untie you and have sex.
Yeah, or you don't necessarily have to be untied, or I mean, I think this is why this is really I'm adamant about checking like with my partners, like you know, sometimes you want to be tied up and it's just like for that sake of tying, and then things get relaxed and more comfortable, and then you know, the person that you're tying up is just like, okay, I really want to have sex. And so you're just like, okay, well, let's talk about it a little bit more. So it's that level of like comfortability and trying to be a little bit like flexible.
Right. I mean, you have to be flexible.
Yeah.
You have to be flexible in more ways than one, people.
Right. And I feel like this would not necessarily interest a lot of people just because it seems like you have to do a lot of talking and communicating and checking in. Right. And I feel like people are not into that. They just kind of want to, you know, pump and dump, or they, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm just saying, you know, because like you were saying that, you know, the first man that you had sex with was saying you were so quiet. And some people like that and some don't. Some people really just don't like to, you know, talk and like have conversation. They feel like it may kill the mood and things like this.
Right.
So I feel like there's a lot of responsibility with, you know, exploring your kink.
Sure.
Yeah. And I just think maybe, I wonder if that's what kind of deters people sometimes.
I definitely do think about that. But I also think I turned 36 in 2 weeks. If we can't talk about, if we can't talk about like, you know, this basic, if we can't talk about it, I don't
want to do it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. It's a maturity thing at this point. Like we're grown ass people.
Yeah. I went on a date a couple weeks ago with this really wonderful person, and we had the discussion about condoms and using, you know, protection, and they were like, yeah, I'm very happy that you started talking about this. And I'm like, if we can't talk about like, you know, using condoms and we're in our 30s, what the fuck are we should not be having sex.
Sad, yeah. And yet this is what it is.
I totally agree.
This is what we're living in. So just to veer back for a second, if you are somebody who is, you know, questioning your sexuality or pondering or just exploring, there are like some things that I just want to outline. Like one being, it's okay to question it.
Most definitely.
Even if you pretty much identify as a straight person or a cisgendered person, it's still okay to explore it. And I think I almost feel like women have gotten that advantage in the section that we call college. Women are allowed to explore their sexuality and make out with women and, you know, Girls Gone Wild, right? That was our generation. I don't necessarily feel like it's that way for men. I mean, this is bisexual men in general or just men in general. They're not necessarily allowed to explore their sexuality societally as women are.
I would agree. Because
right?
Like, they can't even explore their feelings.
They can't even explore their feelings because even if they, if you guys watch Queen Sugar, the son, Micah, he got really close to this person, this man in college, and he was questioning it because he's like, am I gay? Like, I just feel like I really love this person. And
I feel like there's so many different, there's so many negative connotations with that because we associate gay with being bad. We have negative feelings with that. That's why
for men.
Most definitely for men.
Go ahead and she can explore her sexuality and make out all these women and then marry this man and have these children and live her cisgender life and nobody will question it.
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like guys are just like, they associate gay with being bad or dirty or disgusting or whatever and so they are scared to explore.
Right.
I mean, I think about like I'm a big proponent of gay porn, and I love all the gay porn that I'm seeing, and I'm just like, this is great to see all these different guys that are exploring their sexuality, because of now things that are in existence like PrEP and there are other things to take care of themselves and their bodies when they're having sex. And so I'm just like, I feel like there are a good half the women on the planet have some kind of queer ideations.
Yep.
Half the men on the planet are queer as well. They refuse to admit it. So yeah, I feel like, as health things are getting better, more guys are going to admit, like, saying like, hey, I'm gay.
I hope so.
Or like, not even like gay, but like I'm queer or bi or pan or whatever.
Or just like sometimes I make out with my friends when we get drunk in Miami. Like, I don't know. Okay. And listen, it's okay if you're a woman and you don't want to be with a man who makes out with other men on vacation or for fun or has sex with other men. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to judge it necessarily or call them anything other than, a child of God just because that's what they do. But I feel like there is even people who accept gay, people who understand gay and accept gay still have a problem with bisexual, because there's there's a greediness that people like to hone in on, like, oh, you're greedy and you just want everybody. I feel like that's a little old school, but also it's still there. But also just, why is a man, if you really like women, like, why would you ever want to mess with a man? And that reality is just like too much.
I don't understand that. Yeah, I don't understand that mindset, because even though I've never been with a woman, I feel like a woman is a woman's best lover, and I would feel that way. A man is a man's best lover, because I feel like there's that part of who better to give it to you than somebody who has your your same I'm saying, makeup
anatomy and right.
Yeah. So I think that's so.
It's the bisexuality.
So old.
It's a double standard. Now, I'm happy the double standard's on our side this time in this instance, that women get the advantage of being able to explore our sexuality much more than men are. But I feel like that oppresses men, and it factors into their anger and their violent behavior, and just it all kind of culminates, you know what I mean? Because I feel like men aren't allowed to, and so it festers.
Yeah, because I would say, even as a woman, I'm saying, when you're with a man, if you're someone who does like to explore, I think that your partner's body, like, there's so many areas of your body that get so ignored, and so like behind your knees, and like even like your nipples, right? And so I think a lot of times we associate your nipples with women because we have breasts, and it's like you're just your body is being ignored, and as being your partner, I'm not allowed to explore that because it's seen as what, you being soft or something. You're a sexual being. Like, there's more, and that's why I was talking about pump and dump. Like, there's more than your penis in sex.
Right. I hope everybody heard that part. But yes, back to what I was, just questioning your sexuality. So yeah, it's okay to question it. There is people really shouldn't judge. No judging others who are questioning their sexuality, because honestly, it's nobody else's business. If you are, you aren't. I don't necessarily feel like you need to announce that you're exploring your sexuality, unless that's something you feel like you need to do so that people are aware. Because I know there is this is probably much more modern, for teenagers nowadays. They feel like they need to like define it early. They need to figure it out in high school. They need to figure it out. And there's a spectrum, kids. If there's some kids, listening, there's a spectrum of sexuality. So what's happening in high school is not what's not going to be happening when you're 25, 30, 35,
Oh,
40.
no.
So it could change. Just be aware of that. And that it's not a big deal if it changes or stays the same. You can be honest about it. You're not by yourself. You're not the only person going through these kinds of things. And the confusion does not last forever, I would say. I think eventually we do find our niche, or we find our place in the on the spectrum, wherever, whatever shades or nearby or whatever. I think we find ourselves, and that's why it's not necessary to necessarily like label yourself, because you'll find it and it'll be for you.
So I would think that it might be important to find your tribe also, so that you don't feel, so isolated about this thing. I mean, there's so many people out there who are exploring their sexualities, or who don't like, just vanilla sex. And so that you just don't feel like, saying like you're just lone wolf out there who likes the thing that you like. Like, no, all of these things exist for a reason.
And all of these things were thought up by humans, by the way.
Right. So
it's not like this is alien behavior.
Right.
At all. So
as long as we have consenting.
Right. Consent.
That's consenting adults. Or, if you are hopefully not a teenager listening to the show.
But if you are, listen.
Hopefully not. But, I mean, we were teenagers once upon a time.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Could you imagine if you had some of this? I mean, I'm glad we didn't have social media.
I feel like I kind of did. Oh, God. Thank you.
I mean, I'm grateful. Thank God. Thank you.
I am too.
But I would have appreciated having somebody speak to me in this way in health class, rather than just speaking to me about anatomy and physiology. That, yeah, this is what will happen to my body when I have sex. But what about the sex, though?
Right. And you know what?
Does it feel good to you?
Yeah. I had an interest in sex at a young age. I think because I grew up with people who were older than me.
Yeah.
And so we didn't necessarily get like this in depth into conversations, but I would see them, making out with their significant others and things like that. And I don't know. I mean,
that's what kids do. Watch. They watch.
Right. And we definitely try to impersonate. Because we're very, impressionable, and we're sponges. And so, yeah.
So I wanted to give some, first of all, if any of this information is sounding good to you, you can always go to ditchthelabel.org. If you're not into labels, if you're interested in like exploring different labels, but also like the how to explore your sexuality. So here's some things I have. You guys can comment as I go. Just maybe you've tried them, maybe you haven't. One thing is to fill your social feed with folks across the sexuality spectrum, so that you're not just seeing things on social media. If you're a social media person, you're not just seeing heteronorms at all times, because that will, not that heteronorms are a brainwash, but maybe they are. I think anything that you're getting constant over and over can be a brainwash, just because we have to be open to all facets of information. So opening up your feed, intentionally and respectfully putting yourself in queer spaces like podcasts, bars, bookshops, places where queer people go, so that you have the freedom to explore and there's not this judgment or this like harsh light shining in on you. Angie, are there any good bars in Austin, gay bars, queer bars that you can name?
I think Austin has a really great queer community in general, and everybody's very accepting and open. There's definitely some really great queer bars that in certain areas in Austin. I would highly recommend Rain. Rain is fantastic, as well as Coconut Club and Cheer Up Charlie's.
Ooh, I like all those names.
Yeah, they're all fantastic.
Perfect. Thank you. Have you found any in New Orleans there, Vic?
Girl, hell no.
You need to explore this. Here in Vegas, Angie, you can probably help me with Vegas too, but I know there is the Fruit Loop. that has.
I've been there before.
She's shaking her head. She's like, no.
They don't want that name.
The Fruit Loop in Vegas. There's a little loop of like 3 or 4 gay bars.
So Piranha. I know Piranha. I don't know.
I actually really like Piranha because there were men there that had heels on that were dancing their asses off. I follow this guy still. I remember I think we went there together and you like fell in love with
him. Yes. And I did. And I told him, I told him, have my baby. Like he was dancing with these fucking sexy ass boots on.
I got the video.
Was fucking getting it. Oh my God. Oh yes. Love it.
So yeah, it's a good one. Piranha. LA, pretty much anywhere in West Hollywood. Obviously, West Hollywood is the community. So, another how to explore sexuality, journaling. Sometimes when you're journaling, stream of consciousness, things come out that you're not necessarily thinking about coming out. Do you journal, Angie?
I do.
Nice.
I do it in like various mediums. So I have like in my own personal journal, but then I do blog. And that's another way I can explore things at a different perspective. And then I'm very active on Twitter, and I love like your like little like burst like journal prompts, just like, how do I feel about work right now? I'm just like,
right.
I'm so frustrated, but I love my job, but I'm so frustrated. So yeah, that's how I journal. And like the various different ways as a writer, as much information as can possibly get out in whatever medium is available.
Absolutely. I'm a journaler from way back. So I feel that. Have you gotten back into journaling, Vic?
No, I have a journal. I have a very nice journal.
It's gonna happen for you.
I know it needs to. I think I might be better off. I think doing a recorded journal. Yeah, I might have to do that and I hate it. Like my brain does not shut the fuck off. It does not shut off. Yeah. And so I hate when I think of something really good and then I'll lose it like that. Like I will fucking lose it just like that. So I really do need to get in a better habit of recording because writing is not gonna work for me.
That's why I love bullet journaling. You just have like these just little like these bullet sessions are just like, I know when I bullet journal, I just like fuck everybody, blah blah blah. I hate everybody, and then it's like done.
I think that all the time. I just
no, that's great, and I like that idea because I feel like not everybody is very, not everybody can put a pen to paper easily. You know what I mean? Like it's not easy for everybody to just find a pen and find some paper and write some shit down and keep it, So audio journaling, I think this is a new medium.
I definitely think we have to do a fucking part 2 to this because Angie, I remember you were saying, like exploring your sexuality through like body positivity. And I definitely think that's something that we need to touch on and just really, kinks. And I know we don't, the labeling and things like that, but I find you so fascinating.
Fascinating.
Very fascinating.
Why, thank you. I'm very flattered. And yeah, I'm happy to do part 2.
Okay, great. The other things I was going to say, classes, workshops, there are things out there, guys. I'm trying to tell you about like sexual exploration, even like yoga, Tantra yoga.
You can even like go check out YouTube. There are so many different like various YouTube videos about the different kinks that are out there. Mm-hmm. You have everything from pet play, rope, submissive. It's dominant.
Yeah.
You can learn so much
about all this stuff.
Yeah.
Please check out the other episodes.
Yeah, and you can like just find it all on YouTube. I like just various different capacities from just, if you're just interested in like the vanilla stuff to all the way to like the more in-depth, more painful.
All the way to fisting, guys.
Sure, yeah, exactly.
To fisting.
On YouTube?
And bukkake. Oh, well, listen. Just in general, like you never know. Listen, porn is on here as well. Porn is porn is a very large medium of how to explore your sexuality.
Oh no, it's not on YouTube.
No. I just mean explore your sexuality. Porn can.
What is misleading?
I'm about to admit something gross. Okay, here we go.
Uh-oh.
Sometimes, no, not even sometimes. I don't do this often. Once or twice, I have looked at, what is it? It's like the anime porn.
Hentai.
Wow. Like I feel very strange getting off to that. I did get off to it, but I feel strange about it because I'm like,
well, why do you feel strange?
Because they're cartoons. You know why? Here, I'm gonna tell you why. Because I realize how, as an actor and like doing voiceover and stuff like that, I realize how much has to go into that in order to make it actually sexy, which breaks the sexy for me. Because I'm like, this isn't natural. What's happening? This is a painting or a drawing. There's actors behind there faking it, the voice, so that I can get off. And this isn't really happening. Like it's almost like make believe. So I did get off on it, but I felt terrible about it, and I never looked at it again.
I love the animated dicks. Love them. I do. They're gorgeous. They're always so baby, and thick and big, and yeah. No, that's fine. No.
I don't know, and it also made me feel kind of like a child, like I was beating off to a cartoon.
Okay, now I get that.
I don't. Okay. You're entitled to like what you like, Crystal.
Of course.
I also think that I don't think there's anything wrong with hentai, and
no, not at all.
Yeah, like that.
I liked it. I didn't know why I liked it, and I didn't like that I liked it.
And you're totally allowed not to like what you don't like, but I don't know.
You like it?
I don't necessarily like it. It's something I don't search out, but like I try in my journey of like just acceptance in general. I try to be as accepting as I possibly can of people's other like sexual preferences. Mm-hmm. So if you like hentai, I'm not going to say I'm going to love hentai, but if like a partner was interested in it, I would do a little bit more exploration of it.
Sure, absolutely. If that was the case, I would do more exploration of it. If that was something that like got you to a place. Yeah, sure. I get it. I think I said tantra yoga. Someone wrote down sex club, which I'm not really sure.
Probably like something like the Green Door or something. Maybe.
Like a swingers club.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's another way of exploring.
Now, I would love to find one of those out here. I know they have.
Girl, I'm sure you.
Oh, there's plenty in New Orleans. Yes,
I know.
And then there was like they put girls' night, but I put like gatherings. It doesn't necessarily have to be a girls' night, but like a gathering of like-minded folks or people who are thinking of in the same facet as you are, just to get together and have a nice conversation over some wine or some cheese, because you never know. You never know what could come out of
little charcuterie.
Like yeah. And then masturbation, obviously. Obviously, masturbation will always pretty much trump anything. I was exploring this new toy called the Rose that everybody's going on about.
Yeah, I've seen it.
This is a clitoral stimulation. I think there's like a sucking on top of a...
Did you buy one?
No, it keeps coming up on my feed because I don't know why. Because I'm horny, I guess.
I work in tech, but like I don't know anything about sexual tech right now. I feel very old school. I get off just by using my hands, and that's what works for me.
I really don't use toys, even during sex. I'm not really a toy user. I want to go for it, but that's just me. I know a lot of people who love the toys. Toys are a part of it. If you are looking for something new, the Rose has got like different, there's like a licking one, there's a sucking one, and then there's one that has like a penetrative device with the sucking one. So women are losing their minds out here. And it's wonderful. So Angie, the last thing I was gonna bring up was our survey.
Yeah.
So I'll just ask you some questions and we'll cut this so that we can see how it goes for you. Okay. So the question is, would you date? And your options for answers are yes, no, maybe, more info, or I have already.
Okay.
So someone much younger than you or older than you, but someone much younger is the first one.
Someone much. What do you mean? How much younger?
Much younger. We go with like
Here.
10 being the most.
Younger? Yes, I have already.
Ooh, okay.
Oh.
Someone
How
much
old were you?
older, 10 years older?
Yeah, I was 10 years older.
How was that?
He's very spirited, but I know never again.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
She said never again.
Yeah, he had no finesse.
Mm.
He had stamina, but no finesse. And I learned that finesse is very
Damn.
important.
No, that's valid. I wrote that down too. Finesse.
Mhm.
Because look, exactly what you said. You can have stamina, but where's the finesse? Where's the swagger? Where's the je ne sais quoi?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How about much older than you?
Yes, I have done that. I won't do it again.
Won't do it again. Okay. Vic said, why not?
At the time I met him, he was a recent widower, and that was way too much for me to process.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if it was recent. My God. Okay. Outside your race.
Oh yeah, I've done it. I have no issues with it.
No issues.
Yeah.
How about a handicapped person?
I have no issues with that either. My first boyfriend, I still think the world of him. He has cerebral palsy. He has cerebral palsy.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna put down I have. Okay. What about a little person?
Sure. I mean, I'm pretty little myself, so
No, we're talking about a little person.
I would like to be honest, but probably
Be
no.
honest.
Yes, probably not. But I don't know. I don't want to like discount anybody because.
Okay, I'll circle no maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fair.
A person who doesn't want kids.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, that's fine. Okay. Do you want kids?
But
So
I'm
you're
not-
fine.
I mean, I do eventually want children, but I've been with a lot of guys, and especially here in Austin, that don't want children, and that's okay too.
Okay.
That's not a deal breaker for you in terms of love.
No, it isn't.
Okay. A married person.
There's their partner know that they are looking elsewhere.
Well, I don't know.
That's a hard question because I have been with married couples before, but they also knew that they are dating outside of their relationship.
Okay, so I'll put I have, but
If open.
if open.
Yeah, if open.
Okay.
So if it's
go
not open,
ahead.
then
Yeah, if I'm gonna be cheating on somebody, fuck no.
No cheating. Okay, no cheating.
Yeah.
How about a separated person?
Oh yeah,
They're
that's
married, but
fine.
they're separated.
Yes, yeah, I've done that before.
Oh, okay, I have. Okay.
how did that
How
work
about
out?
what'd you say, Meg?
Sorry, I was asking how did that work out? Like, did they
Oh.
eventually go back to the house?
I mean, it was nothing like really especially long lasting, but they were just honest with me, so I appreciate their honesty, and that was just made me trust them more.
Okay.
How about a person that wants to be in an open relationship?
Even though I respect the capacity it takes to be in an open relationship, I don't like doing it myself, so I tell people I'm not interested.
No. Okay. Fair. Someone not close to their family.
I'm not especially close to my family, so I don't really care.
Okay. Someone too close to their family.
I mean, I don't want to have dinner with your parents every night, but I still think that's sweet.
How about I need more info?
Sure, that's perfect. Yeah.
That's fair. Like how many times we seen your mama though?
Mhm,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, someone who has been incarcerated.
Oh, that doesn't bother me.
Okay. A former addict.
That doesn't bother me. I've been in relationships with former addicts.
Okay. Oh, you have. Okay. A person who has formerly cheated.
Yes. I mean, I thought.
Do you feel like people change?
I feel like in a way people can change, but also I don't know, that's a really interesting question. But yes,
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, yes, maybe. A bisexual person, you said yes.
Yeah. I have no problems about that.
Polyamorous person?
I don't think so. No, I can't.
Okay.
You tried it, right? It didn't work.
Yeah, I tried. It didn't work. I like monogamy. I mean, we can fuck, other people.
Yeah.
But I am still like
you're mine and I'm yours.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Okay, got it. A different religion.
Oh, I have no issue with that.
Okay. Makes less money than you.
Most definitely. I have no issue with that.
Makes more money.
I mean, I have no issue with that either. Yeah, I've been on both ends of the spectrum, so it's like whatever.
Okay, big one. Transgender person.
Yes, I've been with transgenders before.
Oh, okay, I have.
Really?
How was
We
that?
have to talk about that next episode. Yeah.
I feel like I'm just very flexible when it comes to the different sexual preferences, and
you're fluid. You're malleable.
Yeah. It's not a big deal for me.
I love it. How about a person with genital herpes?
Yes, I have, and we were like open about it, and
I have as well.
Yeah, as long as someone is really open about like their sexual, STIs. I mean, I've had them myself, and not necessarily herpes, but like other things. So yeah, I tried to be as open and honest with things as possible, and so yeah.
So would you say the same for HIV?
I've probably been with somebody with herpes. I don't know if I necessarily been with anybody with HIV, but I mean, as long as you're taking care of yourself and you let me know about your different diagnosis and if you're feeling any symptoms, things like that.
Okay, so I'll put need more info.
Sure, that's perfect.
Okay. How about a stripper?
I mean, I have no issue with that. Sex work is sex work. It's
work. Right. That's right. So an escort's cool too?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Speaks very little English. Okay, hold up. This is a very controversial question on our show, Angie. So speaks I didn't say none, very little English.
Yeah, I've had that happen plenty of times.
Boom. Okay. Vic's mad. She ain't gonna act like it.
I get mad. It's just mad for me.
She mad. Okay.
I'm not. I just hate that fucking
place. No, Europeans love me.
Thank you. Me too, right? And listen,
love me. I have slept with that entire continent and not known half the things they've said.
Boom. Love it.
Listen, I did great for you.
Go ahead.
It's just not for me.
She can't do it. She ain't been to Europe yet. When you go,
they're gonna love you, Victoria.
They don't see pretty hair.
They're gonna scream Bella, Bella everywhere you go.
Everywhere.
And they're just be like, why don't you think I'm attractive?
Okay. A person without a car.
Oh, I don't care. That doesn't bother me.
Someone in the military.
That is yes. I mean, I appreciate everybody who serves our country.
Yes.
I think it's really admirable. But I have certain feelings about the military, especially that spending, different recruiting strategies.
So we'll say maybe. Need more.
Yeah, maybe.
A police officer?
Maybe.
A firefighter?
Yes, because I know how municipalities are usually run, so yes, a firefighter is fine.
Okay. A person who lives with their parents.
Oh, that's totally okay. It fucking sucks right now. Everywhere is expensive to live. If you live with your parents, I totally get it. I would live with my mom if I could.
I live with them, okay? It's cool. Or their parents live with them.
I'm Puerto Rican. We have like the big family culture. So if you live with your parents, that's totally cool. I'm going to come over to your house. I expect to be like BFFs with your mom.
Yes. Oh, I didn't know you were Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
I thought you were just mulatto.
Yeah, it's my family history is very weird and complicated, but yeah,
Okay,
I identify as Latina.
Okay. A person not living in the same city as you.
No, I can't. I don't do long distance relationships anymore.
Nope.
They're terrible. They hurt the heart.
A former sex worker, like prostitute or porn.
I have no issue with that.
Okay. Someone who doesn't drink alcohol.
Yeah, I have an issue. When people usually like write that on like a Rumble profile, I'm just like, then I want to drink with you. I'm not listening like I want to get drunk with you, but like I like having a cocktail like on our first like initial meeting. So if they say they don't drink or like they don't like, smoke weed, I'm just like, I'm sorry. That's kind of just like how I unwind.
Okay. I'm just going to put no. A colleague.
I mean, I have dated coworkers in the past, so no, I mean, yeah.
Okay. A professional athlete.
Oh, there's so many professional athletes I think are so hot.
Right. But would you date them?
Oh, yeah, I would.
Okay. A virgin. Well, I think we talked about this.
Sure. I date a virgin as long as they're open about like, as long as they're teachable.
Teachable. Okay.
Yeah.
And then last one is a person abstaining from sex or celibate.
No, I can't date a celibate person.
Okay. All right. That was it.
All right, cool. No, this is great.
So, that was our show, guys. Thank you all so much for joining us. This was full of information that was necessary to the masses, I feel, and informative and full of fun. Hello. And we love you all and we thank you for joining us. Thank you, Angie, for enlightening and giving us, just so much to think about.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
And, as always, we love you all and we thank you for listening. You can listen to Lifestyles of Love wherever you get your podcasts. We are streaming pretty much every Monday with new episodes. And if you ever have any commentary or, you feel type of way, you can DM us. I am your girl, Chris, at Crystal with a K on IG and Facebook. And let us know where we can find you, Angie.
Yeah, you can find me at Andrea.Tyrell at Instagram.
Perfect. Vic?
I am Vic_Pistol.
Yes, that is on Instagram. And like I said, people, if you love the show, leave us a review and let us know. And we will be doing a part 2. We will be following up with Angie on all kinds of things in the coming episodes. So stay tuned and we love you guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.